I'm going to talk about the honor of getting to work in transformation for some of the world's most innovative enterprises as we came out of stealth at Narratize this time last year and have just been on a rapid trajectory of scale ever since. The question that we ask ourselves and that our customers partner with us to ask every day is, what happens when bold ideas go untold? This is Ada Lovelace, who invented, alongside Charles Babbage, the first programmable computer prototype. But guess what? The story that they used to try to get buy-in and fund this prototype was rejected by the British government. They didn't get the story right, the impact right, and therefore, we could have had this conference 100 years ago, if they had. I've spent the last decade, after studying at Purdue, I did my PhD in narrative science. If you're wondering what that is, it means the study of the way that words make meaning. It's rhetoric. And if you look here behind the blue haze, you'll see some of the ways that we've mapped narrative algorithms to different contexts across corporate functions like R&D to marketing. And ultimately, we've unearthed really exciting insights. The core truth that the way that a scientific fact or a medical insight is shared and communicated has a dramatic impact on its ability to solve the challenge it's meant to solve. Everyone is asking, how can generative AI free up innovation? How can it accelerate our pace of innovation? Perhaps how might it make innovation more inclusive and accessible? How does research change? How do our processes around new product development change in light of this technology? And the challenges, of course, are clear. Accuracy and usability are quite difficult and deeply concerning. Trust is earned in drops and it's lost in buckets. So how are we going to solve this? Today, I'll share 4 case stories coming out of our partnerships with global enterprises to help move the needle on innovation with this tech. Okay, insight 1, innovate faster by prioritizing accuracy, specifically through the use of storytelling. When I say storytelling, people get really worried that we're gonna sort of talk about something that's a little too fluffy and not evidence-based. But I want to share this story first. We've partnered with a global aerospace company, and we introduced our tech into their new product development teams, the ones who are charged with systems improvements all the way to determining the future of flight. And one of their aerospace engineers utilized Narratize to craft a concept for a new wingspan concept for the aircraft. And he said, this helped me compile my thoughts, this expanded in a technically accurate way, and it unlocked an entirely new aspect of what my concept was going to be. And what I love about this is it's about accuracy, but it's also about the way that it triggered human thinking and provoked human thought. It was in some ways human-led, or we could debate whether it was AI-led or human-led, but ultimately it was that partnership that drove them to the next phase, and that then moved into validation. At Narratize, we are building industry and domain-specific knowledge graph architectures to put guardrails against multiple LLMs. Our story is that 3 years ago, we were tapped by OpenAI to become one of their first 7 developer ambassadors, in part thanks to the peer-reviewed research that our team had put out on narrative algorithms that drove innovation. And so today, we take a story-led approach to this technology, and we find the best ways to prompt users, extract their insights, map it to evidence-based practices, as well as narrative algorithms. And we could go on and on about narrative algorithms in terms of the tech aspect, but as a rhetorician, we like to talk about it from the perspective of constellations in the night sky. So if you think of the way that you describe how an accidental discovery happened and why we might take that path next, you could look at it from this perspective. Or the very common story framework, the and, but, therefore, it's driven almost every piece of communication at NASA. And it goes, there's an ordinary world and something at stake, but there's a problem, therefore there's a solution. Raise your hand if you heard it 20 times today, at least. Now you know it. So we essentially have studied and built data knowledge bases around these types of algorithms over the last decade and mapped them to context to show where can you be more clarifying, where can you be more convincing, where can you drive impact with this kind of storytelling. Okay, insight 2. Infusing GenAI into existing workflows is a huge way to drive this transformation that's possible. We're so grateful to have partnered with the United Nations over the last year in getting this technology into the hands of scientists, researchers, technologists, even product marketing teams. And ultimately, they were rating the outputs as 73% more accurate than standard solutions like ChatGPT, right? Accuracy, I think, is not just about the complexity of the data architecture, although yes, that's probably 99%. It is also about the ability to pull the right insight from the user at the right time, because humans know a heck of a lot. Okay, point 3. Target productivity and revenue gains. Obviously, this feels like table stakes at this point, but we've spent every year over the last decade publishing a state of the field report on innovation storytelling. How much time is this taking up? What types of content deliverables drive innovation decisions? What do those artifacts look like? Where do they win? Where do they stall? What happens through that process? And we found teams spend 30% of their work week doing this type of innovation storytelling, and less than half of them have any confidence that they're doing it right. So we partner with organizations like the Good Housekeeping Institute that run product tests all day, and they share that there's a 60x value on the time they're spending trying to get to the right storyline, get to the right algorithm for the ability to speed up and extract value from this tech to accelerate innovation. So I think the last point to share is we need to think outside of the chatbot. Instead of empowering everyone with 80% of their life work's pressure being to learn how to become a prompt engineer, how do we make AI embed into all of their workflows so that they're still spending 20% of their time learning the art and science of prompt engineering and understanding LLMs, which is critical to their survival in the workplace, but we're not expecting everything about their workflow to change. There's a really popular case study. One very seasoned senior prompt engineer, it took him 150 prompts into ChatGPT to get a C- level white paper. And who cares about a C- level white paper? It doesn't do the work it needs to do. So quickly, I want to share the story-driven features that we've built in Narratize, the dynamic prompting that inspire users to ask deeper questions, and the way that it celebrates those ideas and maps to narrative algorithms on the back end and runs through multiple LLM as well as architectures. And ultimately, then that becomes an engine to transform one content type, one communication pathway into another. So you can go from 1,000 words into a white paper, into a pitch deck, into a one-pager within seconds. This is a process that can then spark story capture, collection across the enterprise, bring our teams together, and enable us all to innovate faster. We were so proud last year when the World Food Forum adopted this tech, and it turned out 87% of the research funds that they awarded went to teams who had actually used Narratize to write their pitch. And these are teams who are literally solving world hunger as part of their everyday work. Exciting win for GenAI, a much more exciting win for humanity. And so I leave you with the question, what bold ideas are waiting to be told? And how do we get this technology into the hands of more people so that we can all share our stories more effectively and innovate faster? Thank you.